Hello everyone, it's Susie here from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well. I hope you're looking after yourself. I hope you're looking after your parents, your friends, your putty cats, your beautiful animals, your dogs. I hope you're just looking after people in this world just to make it a kinder place. I know it's very difficult at the moment. One of my clients, Mason, gave me an internet site called Live Leaks. And it's a really interesting internet site, and it actually tells you a lot of different things and has a lot of different YouTubes and opinions and stories and that sort of thing. And there was a story here about China attempting to rewrite the coronavirus. And I thought it was a very good story, particularly when they obviously, created the coronavirus from their wet markets and are now trying to sort of say to the rest of the world that they're doing such a great job going into Italy and everything else. Also, at the moment, there's 195 countries in the world, and effectively 173 countries out of that 195 have the coronavirus, which is like about 90%, which is incredible. So this video, they talk about President Trump saying he's right to call it the coronavirus, the Chinese coronavirus, the Chinese virus, because obviously that's what history has done in the past, and this video shows you that he's not being racist in that sense. So have a look anyway.
Terrific to have your company on this Friday night. Tony Moclair is in Melbourne. Scott Emerson is in Brisbane. I promise we'll have some laughs in this final segment. Tony and Scott, Donald Trump has said that China didn't do enough to contain the coronavirus when it emerged in Wuhan. I couldn't agree more with him. He's launched his strongest attack on the coronavirus, saying the world is paying the price for Beijing's role in the biggest global pandemic. Look, I was following this virus when stories started to leak out in December and was very, very concerned about what was happening. And I think one of the saddest stories was the doctors who tried to blow the whistle and letting people know, look, this virus is different, and they were hauled before the police, they were shut down, they were told to stop spreading rumours. Scott, Donald Trump, in my view, is right on this, but I can see there's a bigger play here. China's coming out of the virus, America's going into the virus, so we're seeing a real battle on the writing of history, especially given that one Chinese government official said that the virus was created by the American military.
Yeah, look, and it is an attempt to rewrite history. China will say now, look how well we did in terms of dealing with this situation. The reality is we know, when we go back to December, go back to January, they're in denial, they also started to suppress what was happening. So in fact, that has exacerbated the situation, made it far worse. If they'd been honest up front and dealt with it then, this situation wouldn't have been so bad. But it's also about rewriting history and the place in history. Donald Trump is watching America slipping into this situation at the moment. He's facing an election at the end of the year. He's got to be shown, he's saying now, I'm the war president, I'm the wartime president, I've got control of that. He's playing out politics as well as the policy, and so he's trying to get back at China in terms of that as well. So both of them, I think he can be accused of probably misleading people about what the reality is at the situation and what they've done over the last weeks and months.
I can see, certainly, Tony, I can see a real tussle for the writing of history on this one. And as we've said, China's coming out of this. America is facing it. We know that none of these countries, ours included, if you listen to the experts, has enough respirators. If the worst should happen, the United Kingdom is in all sorts of bother. I saw their health secretary own up and say they didn't have enough respirators, and they'll take whatever anyone can make. Now Donald Trump is really sort of sheeting it back to China. I think he's right to do that because he's made a lot of mistakes along the way. I don't think he took the virus seriously enough in the preceding weeks. But what do you make of it?
Well, I think he's spot on. His instincts are brilliant as usual. China is responsible for the virus. You can whitewash history as much as you like. Wet markets, we know, are breeding grounds for these sorts of viruses. And the World Health Organization, which is essentially controlled by China anyway because it gives it a lot of its funding, it would tell you that. If you look at, let's say, the fourth estate being essentially a fifth column, if journalism is the first draft of history, then I think the media in America have a lot to answer for. I think the mainstream media there are utterly debauched. They've come from attempting to gin up the Russia hoax as a pretext for removing from office a duly elected president. Can you imagine if they'd succeeded in that a month ago, where America would be right now? And now they are acting as willing proxies, pushing this nonsense idea that calling the virus what it is, the China virus, is racist, when there's a well-established practice for naming viruses or illnesses or diseases whence they came. Ebola, a lot of people might not know, is named after a river where it first originated. There's Ross River fever, there's German measles. This is standard practice apparently until now. And I mean, you could compare President Trump with President Xi. I didn't see the Chinese leader giving long press conferences with people in the background. I didn't see him deferring to experts. I didn't see any transparency in that process. And as you mentioned, Jane, there wasn't. And we had,
we didn't even see. We didn't even see. I was watching closely. I was on the air over summer. I was watching for President Xi. He was AWOL for quite some time over this.
So pretty interesting stuff, I have to say, and I do agree with what they've actually said, to be perfectly honest with you, because you know, they were very quiet about the virus in China, and honestly, I don't really believe in the stats, I have to say. Now, at the moment, we've got there's 195 countries in the world, and this virus has gone to 173 of those countries. And I just don't believe the stats that are coming out of China myself personally. And I do believe that President Trump was right in calling it the Chinese virus, because it is the Chinese virus. And just the other day, yesterday I should say, which is a Sunday in Australia, now in Australia they've basically closed down all the schools, all migration between the states. All the states are in lockdown and everything else. So there's certainly a lot going on in Australia. Gyms are being closed, schools are being closed, people are at home, people are starting to lose their jobs. And I do think that, you know, China needs to address these wet markets where they sell these poor animals and kill them live in front of the customer and all that sort of thing. But, you know, President Trump, as far as I was concerned, was correct in calling it the Chinese virus, that's for sure. And as you know, it's affected all markets, even in cryptocurrency markets. But I do believe, for me, for my own personal investments, and this is not financial advice by any means, that cryptocurrencies in my mind are quite cheap at the moment, and technically speaking they shouldn't have been affected by what's going on directly with this virus. Of course people will sell out in terms of risk assets with cash, but I do believe for my own financial investments that this is a good time to buy cryptocurrency for me. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor per se, and I don't know your risk tolerance, but that's what I believe. So look, this is just a short video, food for thought. I'd really be interested in people's opinions on this, and I think the presentator was right, the commentator was correct on this, and you know, China in my mind is attempting to rewrite history. The government's being very quiet about this whole virus thing, and now they're trying to make themselves look great by going to Italy and everything else, and yet they didn't warn the world, and they tried to close down that poor doctor, as the presenter said, that you know, end up dying of it. So it's not a great story, because, you know, as I said, this has affected 90% of the world countries. So out of 173 countries that it's in now, the virus, there's 100, according to Wikipedia, there's 195 countries in the world. I mean, that is a global epidemic as such, and not a great story at all. Anyway, guys, please look after yourself. I don't want to be too negative about this, but the positives, let's finish on a positive note. The positives are that the environment is now being looked after more, a lot better. Apparently there's blue sky in China. Also in Venice waters used to be so dirty and so murky. So that was horrible. Now they're clean. You can see fish, which is great. People are much cleaner. They're looking after their cleanliness, and obviously the dirt in their environment. Maybe this will lead to people, wearing gloves, like they did in the old-fashioned days, and doing more picnics and cooking, more home cooking, and maybe building a veggie garden in the back, these sort of things. So maybe it's going to be a throwback to the good old days in terms of some of the things that people used to do. But also people won't want to touch cash, which means that digital currency will come into play. Absolutely, that's what I believe. Anyway, guys, please do look after yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family and friends in these horrible times. Be kind to your animals, please. Dogs, cats. I love my animals so much. And please do look after yourself. I know. Be kind to people in the world, even though it's very difficult with all this that's going on. We do have to maintain, our intelligence and empathy. Please do look after yourself, and thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.